All right, good morning everyone. This is a live session. We're coming from another, start again. We're coming from another room. I hope that the echo is not too bad. If it is, then we'll try and resolve that with the new microphone setup and the rest of it. But hopefully you can see enough and hear enough to follow on anyway. So we're just going to get our body moving to start with. Just get some really gentle neck movements up and down. We'll do a nice joint mobility workout. Hope everyone's feeling well today. And then just turning our neck to the left and to the right. And then just allow your head to just rest forward and then sort of tilt it to left and right. Just do this really gently without any pain. If you can't do this without pain, just leave this one be. We've always got to be fairly gentle with our necks. Just some rolling our shoulders on the spot. And then just some gentle arm swings. Welcome back if this is your first session back in a little while. It's great to see you on the screen. Just remember that we do have our face-to-face sessions that have restarted, so if that's where you want to be too, that just be in touch. We just really want to encourage everyone to resume exercise in some fashion. It's been obviously a difficult time with different restrictions and mobility restrictions on people due to the pandemic, so just not getting the same amount of movement that you would usually get, the same amount of social interaction that you would usually get. I know we're kind of used to this now, aren't we? It's been a couple of years, but yeah, just encourage you to just make moves towards that as much as you're able within the limits of your health decisions and the rest of it. Good, and let's just do some arm movements. You're bringing your hand nice and close to your body and then out again. Trying to keep your elbow more or less still. Alright, and then just almost some dangles. So the point of a warm-up is just that, to warm up. We want to get our joints and muscles ready for movement. Sometimes we don't realise that certain parts aren't really quite ready yet, like until you do something, you're like, wow, that's a bit stiff or sore, and just getting the blood flow going, just getting the muscles activated and things going is worth the effort. Warm-ups don't have to be this long, drawn-out thing. I often find just 5 minutes is enough just to get everything going. And when you ever do a warm-up, if you're doing exercise at home or even making up your own exercise routine, which I encourage you to do, learning that skill of just developing your own is really good. You only need to warm up with things that you're going to be using in that session. So if you're doing a leg workout, you don't really need to do your arms. You just need to do the things that you're going to use. We often do a general workout session, which is why we kind of do a top to toe warm up. But if we were just doing shoulders one day, we could just do shoulders for a warm up. So just to give you some ideas. Yeah, we're about to, sometime in the next month, hopefully, we're going to release a little kind of book that you can purchase, and it'll have, you know, the ability for you to create your own exercise program. And I know that's not everyone's cup of tea, but we just find that if you can, there's some people that really are autonomous and want to actually, you know, spice it up a bit, but it'll give you some tools just to know why would you do a certain exercise and how would you put that together. So we'll keep you updated about that. All right, let's just get going into some balance work. So just start with some some tandem stance, and we'll go into a tandem walk. You might want to put your arms out to the side just for balance. Sometimes people, if their balance is, excuse me, affected, you can do this up against a wall, so you can almost have your hands kind of ready there. And then back. Nice smooth line. You might even find like a bicycle, the faster you go, the easier it is, because you get a bit of momentum. So if you're having a lot of trouble, maybe just don't go too slowly and you'll find it a little bit easier. Yeah, so continue to invite your friends if you know anyone that's really needing and wanting exercise but doesn't have a home for it yet. Feel free to get them in touch. We've still got a few places left now this term because a lot of people who had originally put their names down, mostly due to COVID-related issues, they're not quite able to start until a later date, which means that there's probably half a term left, and people can, we're happy to even start people now. So feel free to let your neighbours know. Good. All right. So this time we're going to go into our single leg stand. And you can actually just put your foot here, or a harder version is putting your foot out the side. Keep this hip up. If you sort of sledge, see if you sledge down, it actually puts a lot of pressure on this hip. But if you can keep that up, it becomes easier over time, plus you strengthen this muscle, which helps in a lot of ways. What you can do, if you're going really well with this exercise and you're able to stand for like 30 seconds, you can start doing your TheraBand exercises like in a standing position. Or you can actually use different arm movements. I'm seeing someone do it now, but yeah, so you can do an arm movement on the top where you can, you can do this. You can do some gentle kind of reaching type stuff. Or you can actually get a band and do your different band exercises. And just the action of having to do two things at once is really quite tricky. And then just put this down. And then the other side. So for instance, if you have a band, you don't even have to start with a band, just doing this type of movement is enough. Or a little weight, it doesn't really matter. The other thing you can do is start talking to someone, or you can talk to yourself if you're exercising alone. I find as an exercise instructor, when you have to talk through the exercise while you're doing it, it requires an extra level of balance because you've got to concentrate. So anytime you want to challenge yourself more, just add another kind of task to it. And often a mental task or a talking task or an upper limb and lower limb task will be enough to really get you challenged. So you always want to be challenging yourself with balance. You don't want it to be too easy or too hard. We call it the Goldilocks effect. We just want it to be just right. So enough where you have to work hard to maintain it, but you can still maintain it. So for me, like when you're doing this kind of business, that's what we want. And when you can get to the stage where you can do it like this, that's when you want to add a few tasks where you have to really kind of concentrate. Yeah, good. Excellent. Let's just do a bit of foot warm up. So we're going to turn our feet in and slowly walk forward. Try and keep your knees in line. Don't do this if it hurts you. And then feet out. Again, see my knees aren't coming out. My knees are sort of still staying like straight down. We're just turning our feet out. So you'll just get different types of forces going through your feet. Good. We're going to go walk forward on your heels and backwards on your toes. So forwards on your heels and backwards on your toes. A few more times. Good. Excellent. Excellent. Now we're going to do our single leg stand again, so doing a bit more balance, but this time I want you to rotate your ankle as you're doing it. So again, can't say I just lost control there. Again, this is actually hard because you are doing two things at once. Other side. And now we're going to stand again on one leg. We're going to reach forward as far as you can without moving the rest of your body. So you're just really reaching forward, pointing your toe as if there was a target in front of you. And then we're going to reach out to the side. Again, imagine that there's a target out there and you're just trying to reach. So you really feel it in the hip here if you stretch out. Try and balance. And then we're going to start in front and we're going to go behind. So keeping everything stable will be quite tricky. Good. Other side, so reaching forward. And out to the side. And then, whoop. The hardest one, the semicircle. You'll find one side much harder. I always find my right hand side way harder for some reason. Good. Fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. Now we're going to go into single leg stance again. So we're spending a little bit of time in balance today, a bit more than usual. I think I might need to spend more time. All right, so what is going on today? Okay. Stand up on one leg, press down gently with your hand and your knee there, and then we're just going to turn out and turn in. And this is quite a tricky one if you keep this leg still. Oh, wow. Oh, I just... Sometimes too, the amount of sleep that you've had the night before affects your balance, and I'm claiming that. I probably didn't get quite enough sleep. Anyway, I'm warming up. Good, and then down again. Excellent. Excellent. Now, we're going to do a pivot and twist, all right? And so what you need to do is put 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, and they're about, I don't know, you can have it sort of heel to toe, like so, or you can have it a little bit wider. Some people will need a chair just to hang on to, and some people won't. So if you're in Angophora, you probably don't need a chair. If you're in Banksia, you probably need a chair, okay? So you're going to come up onto your tiptoes, and you're going to turn in the direction of the forward leg. So if you've got your right leg in front, you're going to turn to the left, sorry, the opposite direction. You're going to turn kind of away from your right. So here, and then here, and then put your feet down. So it's kind of like a robotic movement, like a pivot. Really good for kind of balance and control, change of direction. All right, now swap over on the side. So putting your left foot in front now, come up onto the toe, and you're turning to the right, and then back. It's quite a tricky exercise, this one. Good. Okay. What we're going to do now is, I call this the golf ball exercise because it's like what they do when they pick up a golf ball from the cup. And so you're going to step forward, this one back, and we're going to practice our hip hinge, right? The back foot's just resting gently, and we're going to pick up the golf ball, and then back here. Most of our weight is going to be on our front leg. Our back leg is just resting for balance. like so. Now, for our Angophoras, you can actually practice this with that leg up in the air. Or, you know, like doing part of it with the leg up, right? Which is super hard, right? So if you want to really challenge yourself, but otherwise, just resting that leg and you'll feel it in your hip. Really great exercise just to build some hip control. Other side. Make sure your feet are facing like parallel forwards. And again, this hand can just stabilize yourself. And we're picking up. And as you get better, put less and less pressure on that foot. Until you're almost in this spot here where you can lift that foot up. And you'll see on my right side, I have to work pretty hard to control that. I'm not so great at this one. On my right side, I'm better on my left. Yeah. But I am a left-hander, so that's probably why. Okay, good. So hopefully you're feeling it in here. Now we're going to do some slow walking forward, like big marches forward, and then big steps backwards. So if you do it nice and slowly, it'll be balance as well as control. So what we're going to do is hands on hips, or you might want to hold on to the wall or something. We're going to go lift up forward. Don't do that. Lift up forward and slowly step. But you're trying to really be super slow and super controlled. And then backwards. And you realise you're spending a lot of time on that one leg, which is quite a challenge, especially if we try and avoid kind of rocking around here. So let's do that again. I often say if you want to create a balance exercise for yourself, just take something that you ordinarily do and do it in slow motion. You'll see Tai Chi uses that principle, does things in slow motion, and it makes it way harder to control. Okay, one more time forward, and then we're going to go sideways. And then we're going to go sideways. So it's up, and over, up, and up, and over. And if you just really be nice and soft, without sort of losing control, that will help strengthen your balance. So just think, make as little noise as possible, and you'll start to feel it in the hips, especially. One more time. And then we'll do some upbeat stuff. I know how much you guys like the upbeat, getting into the cardio, it's good. Not everyone does, so. Good, excellent. So you're feeling it in here? Hopefully you are, that's the idea. Okay, let's do some cardio now. So if you need to have a quick drink, a quick rest, do so now, because we're going to do some cardio for the next little bit. Get your breath back, get yourself sorted out. You know, you might just loosen up first actually. Just loosen up your body a bit. Alright, good. Alright, let's just do some just gentle jogging on the spot. You can do almost like super glue walking on the spot, or you can do a jog depending on how you're feeling. And we're going to go forward. And then we're going to lean forward a bit, drive our arms and back pedal. Forward. And then backwards. Forwards. And then we're going to do our squares. Okay, so we're going to go forwards, sideways, backwards, sideways, forwards. Just use you know, the available space in your living room. You don't need a lot of space to do this. Now we can go the other way around now. Good. All right, come back here. We're going to climb a ladder. Just keep going with that for a second. Keep climbing the ladder. And we're going to do some sort of sideways jumps with our little foot twist, and then we're going to add our arms to it, almost like that speed skater. And you can go at my pace, you can go a bit more energetically, just depending on where you're at. You can just, I'll just step it through just for, get the idea. Kind of coordinate your arms and your legs. Good. And then we're going to do a shot put. So starting here, pushing out. You see we're twisting at our pelvis and our feet. Just notice my feet are turning, and that just avoids your knees getting twisted. You can come down a bit further, and up. And then we're going to do some punching. So a little bob and a punch. And then sort of punching up. Just imagine a fixed target there that's actually not going to move, so you can hit it up flush. Rather than just kind of being like this, you don't get as much muscle effort. But if you really do it like a short, sharp punch, you'll feel more muscle work. So I try and imagine that there's like a fixed object, like a bag, like a punching bag, and I'm actually gliding into it, and that will help you get more oomph into it. Not because I care how good your punching technique is, but just in terms of getting your heart rate up and your muscles start going. Good. Right, come back to here. And let's just do our skipping. The other thing you can do is, if you're feeling that a lot of this cardio stuff, if you're finding that you're going really well and you want to challenge yourself further, you can buy those weight vests. So you're actually doing it with a bit heavier weight. And we can do it with like a backpack one. You just got to be mindful that if you have osteoporosis or, you know, strong arthritis in your back, you might not want to load up like that at first. But yeah, that's something you can do because you'll just definitely feel it. Or you can do it with sort of like wrist cuff weights, and you really feel it after a while. Good. All right, let's just do some chopping. So I want you to twist your body. So I'm twisting here. Focus on the twist, that's the key. And nice horizontal movements. This arm sort of coming through horizontally, like so. The bottom arm sort of bent up there. And then we're swapping around this side. Just let your knees sort of pivot in and out. Good. Right, reaching. All right, and then we're going to do the squats, cross country thing. Good. Excellent. Excellent. All right, let's do 5 squat jumps. So just a little jump. If you can't jump, just kind of come up onto your toes and then land on your heels. So rather than actually leaving the ground. Otherwise, you can do a full little jump. You don't have to clear the ground by much. It's just to get you used to landing and supporting your weight down. Good. Have a rest, have a drink. Well done. Well done. All right, we'll just loosen up a bit now. So just do some hip openers. And then you might want to chair. We're just going to swing our leg forward and back. Other side. You notice that this is a good balance exercise this year. So hold on. All right. Again, you can hold onto a chair or put your hands on a wall, like so, and just lean into it. You can do this freestanding like I'm doing. Just try and make sure that your front foot and the back foot are parallel. Keep your back knee straight, so you should feel it in the hip and maybe in the calf muscle. Swap over sides. Let's open up our shoulders. Hands on your shoulders. Nice big circle with the elbow. Swing your arms through. Make a stop sign, elbow straight, pull your fingers back towards you. That's that kind of movement. You can have your hand down too if you need to, if it's too sore, but whatever you like. Just a bit of a shape. Side. Good. Just some wrist rolls again. Clasp your hands together. And just try and do some figure eights just to roll those wrists and forearms over. Get some movement in your elbows. All those stiff joints we get in the hand and wrist. You get stiffer in the joints that are smaller, like your fingers and toes, because there's not as much space for them to move. So that's why it's good to keep them moving too. All right, good. Let's just do some dangles. Good. Let's just do some breathing to finish with. So deep breath in. Deep breath in. Try and really actively relax as you breathe out, pull your muscles. Yeah. Just take a moment before you go have a drink, and thanks again. Well done.